Hi, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your June 1st to the 15th, 2023 money and career reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You're helping me be seen by the YouTube algorithm, and I'm so very thankful to each and every one of you. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is the Eight of Cups reversed. We're giving too much. And we need to kind of understand that emotionally, we need our cup to be filled too. So there's just a sense here of just feeling emotionally drained. So being aware of that and doing things to build you up, to center your heart and yourself, and to remember, Leo, that as ambitious as we can be, our emotions matter, our heart matters, taking care of ourselves, it matters. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and Spirit guides. And this is hope. We need hope in our lives. Just a sense that things can get better, things are getting better, things are moving forward. Hope is going to be very, very, very important to us. Remember, it was the only thing left in Pandora's box after she unleashed everything onto the world. Hope was left. And humanity, we all need hope. So embracing that hope within ourselves is going to be very important. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. Okay. So, what we have ourselves crowned with, I'm just moving everything up so you can see it a little bit better. What we have ourselves crowned with here is temperance reversed. It doesn't feel like everything's in balance. And during this time, it might feel like it's a very out of balance time. There's a sense of truth also isn't being seen. So, being aware of that is going to be very important for us and to us. Now, there can be an issue around a Sagittarius energy or a time frame November 22nd to December 21st. So being aware of that is going to be important for us. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune, of course, that falls down. With the Wheel of Fortune, we're going to see a lot of things changing. And as things change, we're entering into a new season. And we're needing to ask ourselves, what does that season look like for us? What does this change mean for me? So this is going to be a big time. We might not be ready for that change. And it's going to be important to also see that. Like, what am I ready for? What am I not ready for? What is happening, even though, I might not want it to be happening, because there's a sense of the seasons are going to change. Whether we want them to or not, it's irrelevant. So with the Wheel of Fortune, we're going to see our fortunes changing. We're going to see things changing. Now, we handle this really rather well. We have the King of Wands here. So we're doing a great job, but just know that things are changing. And the Ace of Swords, God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, are handing us a gift of knowledge, of clarity, of insight, of ideas. We're not really, right now at this point, ready to take it. So here, there's something that we're seeing. There's something that will be, you know, needing to come to a conclusion of. Divinity is going to be giving us like super hints, and we're going to be like, oh, I just don't know. So just be aware of this. Be aware that we need to kind of ruminate about something, not take what everybody says at face value, and step into our own thoughts, because this gift is coming, and yet it's kind of like we're missing it. It doesn't mean that it will never come again, but right now it feels like, oh, this valuable piece of information. Oh my gosh, if I only would have known this idea or that idea, that's going to be very important to us. Now with the Death card, this is strong Scorpio energy coming into play, and this is a time frame of October 23rd to November 21st, and we're going to see a transformation. We're going to see a transformation of what we want and what we need, where we're headed, what we desire, and when it comes to work, when it comes to money, we're also going to see situations transforming. It's like we're entering into a new season of where we need to be for us. With the King of Wands, we're a powerhouse during this time. We can see things, we can understand things, we can move things forward for our career, very much around career. Now, with the Ace of Swords, as Spirit says, we can see things and understand things. I know that sounds very, very general, but it's like we can see what needs to be done, we can understand what steps we need to take. But there's a question here that you have, it's not going to be clear to you. For whatever reason, it's just not going to be that clear. But when it comes to work, like when it comes to having to work and having to get things done and having to move things forward, you're going to be super proficient, and there's a lot that you are changing within that work or within the way that you kind of go after things or look at things or, understand things. So being aware of that during this time is going to be very, very, very beneficial for you. Also knowing that, the sacred masculine energy, the divine masculine, is something you're very in tune with. So you don't have a problem advocating for yourself. Or if you do have a problem advocating for yourself, this is going to be a time where you're a bit more confident in you. You can say what you want, you can say what you need, you can look at things, you can go after the jobs, you can find the jobs, you'll put out your resume. You're going to be a little bit more bold, a little bit more brass during this time. And with the Seven of Swords, we just have to be mindful of everything that we're listening to, because there are certain lies that are coming in, but we're registering them as truths, or we're not seeing the full picture. And it's like, well, this person said XYZ, so it must be true. We can also be telling ourselves certain lies about things. This could be around childhood, but this can also be around what we like, the dreams that we had. And now we can start to let go of them, but there's some sort of bitterness here to that. Being aware of that, or being aware of like there's some sort of lie, and it's like, okay, but is this going to affect my kids, or is this going to affect things in the long run? It's I don't see you as really having to be worried about this, but I do see it as it's kind of like drinking buttermilk or something, where you're thinking, oh, butter and milk. Like I remember when I first tasted it, I was like, I love butter, I love milk, this is a great idea. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is disgusting when I was little. So here, it's just kind of like that. I just see that as it being kind of a surprise. It's like, oh no, that's not what I expected, because we're going off of old ideas and kind of things that we had built up since childhood, and now we're going to be seeing things quite differently. And it's actually going to be good for us, but we're going to be like, oh, well, that has to be left behind. And there are certain things where we're like, hmm, that's not true. And it can't even be certain things that people told us we couldn't do or we weren't going to be able to do. And so here we're very much embracing a transformation for where we need to be for us. So just be aware of a bit of a lie that's being told to you. And once you see it, once you're like, oh, but that wasn't true, and it's going to be something where you almost have to experience it first. And then you're like, oh, okay. Because that's where the buttermilk comes in, right? And it's like, I'm letting go things of the past. I'm letting go, even if we're doing everything so that we keep our kids in like this beautiful insulated world, it's like, okay, but that's going to fall apart at one point or another. And we can keep it as long as humanly possible, right? Or our grandkids or our nephews and nieces. But there's going to be something here where it kind of breaks things open a little bit. And you're going to be like, oh, well, that's interesting. I don't see it as something to be worried about, but I do see it as like things start to open in a way where if you had more control over it, you would be like, oh, well, I don't want it to be like that. But because the world takes over and there's so many changes coming forward, that it's like, okay, well, now we're in this stage. And that's just where we are. So being aware of that is going to be very important. There's also something here where it could be something that you really wanted. As a child, you were like, oh, well, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to be. and now you're seeing that change and you feel like you lied to yourself or you were lied to, that doesn't have to be the case. It's like things are changing, things are growing, and you're going to see those same dreams being implemented in what you do in the day to day. And it's like without those dreams, you wouldn't stand where you are right now. So instead of looking at them angrily, it's like, oh, okay, it just is different. And there's going to be a power to withstanding that storm of that difference. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Eight of Swords. We get way too much in our own heads, trapped, overwhelmed, doubting, fearing, and overthinking, overanalyzing. It's kind of like when you look at people and instead of being like, okay, that's a person sitting there living their life, we're thinking, oh my gosh, what are they thinking about me? How are they judging me? They obviously find me wanting type of thing. Instead of realizing, they're so busy worrying about themselves that most people aren't worrying about us. So here, just be mindful about this because our mind can be a prison and we don't need our mind to be a prison for us here, Leo. And there's definitely a sense, especially if we have, you know, a proclivity towards that already, we can be really trapped by our mind during this time. So just be aware of this. Now, our subconscious spirit message is success reversed. We don't see ourselves as successful. There's always more, there's always more, there's always more. And if we look at things that way, there will always be more. There will always be more to achieve, more to succeed at. Enough is never really enough. I was listening to this thing on YouTube where people were talking about how much money they earned. And it was really funny because the people who earned less money were happier. And then they got up to like ridiculous sums of money that people earned. And I remember one of the highest earners said you can always have more money. And she didn't look happy at all. And it's like, okay, what's your success? And at this point in our lives, where we are in the world, we need to rethink success. And it doesn't always have to be more, more, more. It moves us to our subconscious tarot message, and this is the Eight of Swords reversed. So we're being told to be mindful of being way too much in our own heads, right? And then the Eight of Swords, subconsciously, we're releasing ourselves from a lot that we have trapped ourselves in. So just being aware of this, that subconsciously we're releasing ourselves from a lot that has been trapping us. We don't need to build back up the walls or the cage again. So being aware that we have a proclivity towards this during this time is going to be important. And we might even find, a lot of people have, like, they get happier when it's sunny if you're in the northern hemisphere, but we can find that we get like a little bit more down on ourselves. Like there are these things where it's like, well, that's weird, or that's not how people usually react, but that's how I'm reacting to this. So just be aware of this during this time. Because there's something here where like usually it would build people up, but now it's just making us so worried about like, okay, the next step is what? So be aware of this, that we can overthink, overanalyze, because we want to make so sure we don't make a mistake. But life's what happens when we're busy making plans. And so it's kind of like, well, I just have to see what happens. Like kind of that go with the flow type of thing, which is so easy to say and so hard to do. But it's like, okay, let's see where the next adventure takes us because the wheel is changing anyway. The season is changing, things are changing, and we can't stop it. All right. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. Have a wonderful beginning of June. God bless. Bye.